Welcome to our course, Acquiring Coding Skills in Python. And in this part of our course, we are going to learn the use of if statement. We will be learning about the logic and the idea behind its construction. So if it's your first time in using PyCharm to make your project, all you have to do is that you're going to create first your project. So go to File, then New Project. And here is one of the most important things to do. You're going to specify the location wherein you store your notebook. So for instance, in my case, I have created a folder which is named Complete Python Roadmap. Then that is located in another folder, project, and that is in the desktop. So here, I have also created another folder which is Python project 1 in this another folder. Right, so here you can see the environment and your base interpreter. Once you are done with that creation of a certain folder or address of your notebook, then you can create or click create. So in my case, I already have one, so I don't need to create this one. So you now have your location. And the next thing to do is you're going to create a new Py page wherein you're going to do the manipulation of the data. You go to File and then just New. And then here you're going to click Python file. Okay. So because in my case, I already have one, so I don't need to create. So here you're going to write any name that you would like your project to be named. So in my case, no need because I already have this one. What are we going to do is this. We are tasked to make a program that asks a user to enter a number, and the program tells if a number is a multiple of 3 or not. Let's go back to this PyCharm. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to input a number. So input, then enter a number. So basically, what we do here is we are inputting a certain value, and we're going to name this variable num, then equals. We have assigned a certain value to a number, but in this case, the problem is this, the number that we create in this case, or we enter in this part of our program is still a string. It must be a number. What we're going to do is we're going to convert the string into an integer. So num again, then just int, int, and then the value that we want to be converted to an integer. In this case, we have num, the variable num. The next thing is that we're now going to construct our if statement. So if num, then modulo 3, because it's a multiple of 3, and it must be equal to 0, then we want to print the number is a multiple of 3. So if the remainder is not 0, then that means it is not a multiple of 3. So how do we construct that? We're going to use else, then colon, then print the number is not, let's make this one capital. So this is highlighted, oops, not a multiple of 3. All right. So we have this. Basically, this is how our program goes. We input a certain number, but then that number that we have inputted into the program is not yet a number, and that is a string. That is a string because, as you could see in this case, we have this, right? Input, and you could see this, 2 quotation marks in this case, so that converts actually a value to a string. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to convert num into an integer. And so with the use of int or int function, and then we create here an if statement. So that means if num, so this one, the num in this case, then we divide that with 3, this is the modulo, which means it gives us a remainder. So when the remainder is 0, then we print the number is a multiple of 3. Else, else here means if the remainder is not 0, it's above 0, then, or even -1 if we input negative value, then we print the number is not a multiple of 3. Okay, so now it's ready to be executed. So we're going to highlight this one, then let's go to run, and let's click this run, and we choose here if statement because it's where our program is written. Okay, so now in this case, enter a number. Let's have 3. So then the number is a multiple of 3. Let's choose 5. So the number is not a multiple of 3. Basically, we don't need to go through the process of highlighting this one and running this one again. So all you have to do is just click this, okay? And then you would be starting all over again, but you have to start from entering a number. Then let's have 9. Then let's enter. So the number is a multiple of 3. Here, we actually use an operator equal sign. There are actually a lot of operators that you can use depending on what kind of logic, what kind of case you would like to be executed. So let's go to executing lots of these different operators. So let's go to idle, this one. So this one is actually better to use if we would like to execute line very quickly. But of course, if you would like to execute the main program, you can use the PyCharm or other stuffs that is equivalent to PyCharm or other environment. So it means to say that idle is just for experimental purposes. So 4 is equal to 4, and this will give us 0, I mean true, it's because 4 is equal to 4. So what if, let's have equal to 3. Okay, that's false because 4 is not equal to 3. So 4 is not equal to 3, and this will give us 2 because 3 is not equal to 4 and 4 is not equal to 3. So for not equal operator, so we have this exclamation point and then equal sign. We also have greater than, so let's have 4 is greater than 3, and that is true. And we also have less than sign. 3 is not, or 3 is less than 4, and that is true. But of course, when we say 3 is greater than 4, and that gives us false. So we also have 4 equals, okay, I mean greater than equal to 3. That is true because 4 is greater than 3. So 4, let's have this greater than or equal to 4. That is true because 4 is equal to 4. And it can also be 3 is less than and equal to 3. And this gives us true because 3 is equal to 3. So 3 is less than or equal to 4, and this will give us true because 3 is less than 4. In some cases, we can actually use two conditions. So we can use and, we can also use or. So never mind this one. This is not actually just to show you what we're going to use and or. So for example, we have 3 is less than 2, and okay, let's make this one 4 so we won't get lost, and 4 is greater than 1. So here we have two conditions, and these two conditions must be complied with for us to be able to have a value true. So 3 is less than 4 is true, and 4 is greater than 1. So notice that we use here the operator and, so which means to say both of these conditions, the left and the right of and, must be true. So let's have this one. 3 is less than 2, and 4 is equal to 4. So this will return what? What do you think? False. False, it's because the two conditions are not complied with. So 3 is less than 2. Of course, that is false because 3 is greater than 2. And 4 is equal to 4 is correct. So we can also use or. So for instance, 3 is less than 2 and 4 is equal to 4. So we're going to use or. So let's execute this one. Okay, this will give us truths because now we have changed the operator from and to or, which means to say that only one condition should, at least one condition should be complied with. So in this case, we have two conditions, and what is complied with is 4 is equal to 4, which is true, and 3 less than 2 is wrong. So this one complies with at least one of the conditions. So these are the operators that you can use in this part of your if statement. Do you want to know more about this channel? Just click these cards. We do have a lot of free data science courses for free like Machine Learning Essentials, Deep Learning Mathematics, and a lot more. Here, you can always learn an upskill for free.